She always dreamed of finding love with a kind man who would see her heart first, not her skin. When she met Jack, a white man with warm eyes and a gentle smile, her heart felt full. Jack was different, or so she thought. They laughed together, shared secrets, and dreamed of a future. Sarah, a successful Black woman, felt happy and hopeful for the first time in a long while. But then came the day Sarah was invited to meet Jack's family. She dressed carefully, choosing a soft blue dress that made her feel confident. As she walked into the house, she felt a cold shiver down her spine. The air felt heavy. Jack's mother, Mrs. Wilson, barely looked at her. The smiles were forced, the greetings short. "Is this really who you're with, Jack?" Mrs. Wilson whispered loudly enough for Sarah to hear. Sarah's heart sank, but she smiled politely. Jack's father didn't speak, but his eyes told a story Sarah wished she never had to read. Dinner was awkward. The family made comments about Sarah's hair, her clothes, even the food she liked. "So exotic," one of Jack's cousins said, staring at her as if she didn't belong. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes, but held them back. She wanted to fight, but she also wanted peace. After dinner, Jack apologized quietly. "I'm sorry." "They don't mean it." But Sarah knew it meant something. The next weeks were filled with more family gatherings. Each time, the cold looks grew colder, the words sharper. At a Sunday picnic, a family friend made a joke about how unusual it was to see Sarah with Jack. The laughter around the table stung like sharp needles. Sarah felt trapped between love and pain. One afternoon, she confided in her best friend, Lisa. "They don't see me as a person," Sarah said, voice shaking. "Just a color. How do I make them see who I really am?" Lisa hugged her tight. "Maybe you don't have to make them see. Maybe you show them anyway, by being you." Sarah decided she wouldn't hide or run away. At the next family dinner, when Mrs. Wilson made a rude comment about her accent, Sarah calmly said, "I'm proud of where I come from. My voice carries stories of strength and hope." The room fell silent. Jack looked at Sarah with admiration, realizing how brave she was. Over time, Sarah began to share stories about her family, her culture, and her dreams. Slowly, some of the coldness melted into curiosity. One evening, Mrs. Wilson asked Sarah to teach her how to cook a dish from her culture. Sarah smiled warmly, knowing this was a small victory. But not everyone changed quickly. Sarah still faced whispered remarks and sideways glances. One day, Jack's younger brother called Sarah a hurtful name when they were alone. Sarah's heart broke, but she stood tall. "I'm not here to fight with you. I'm here to show you kindness." Jack's brother looked confused. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. Slowly, the family started to listen. Sarah's courage opened doors that years of silence couldn't. At a big family reunion, Jack's dad surprised Sarah by telling her, "You've brought light to our family." Sarah smiled, tears of joy in her eyes. Jack squeezed her hand, proud and grateful. Sarah learned that courage isn't about never feeling scared. It's about facing fear and still standing strong. Her story spread in the neighborhood, inspiring others who felt invisible or judged. People saw how love and bravery could break down walls. Sarah's journey was far from over, but she had already changed more than just a family. She had changed hearts. After that reunion, things didn't magically become perfect. Some family members still held onto old ideas and whispered when they thought Sarah couldn't hear. But Sarah was no longer afraid. She knew her presence alone was changing the family bit by bit. One afternoon, Jack and Sarah went to visit his childhood home. The walls held memories, some warm, some painful. Sarah noticed the faded photos of Jack's ancestors and asked about them. Jack opened up, telling her stories about his grandfather who once fought against unfair treatment, but also had his own fears about change. Sarah realized that beneath the surface, fear of difference was something many people struggled with. Jack said, "My family isn't perfect, but you're teaching them what love really means." Sarah smiled. "We're both teaching each other." Weeks later, Sarah decided to invite Jack's family to a celebration of her culture. She cooked traditional foods, played music, and shared stories of her ancestors. Some family members came reluctantly, unsure what to expect. But as the night went on, laughter grew. Jack's cousin even asked to learn a dance step. Mrs. Wilson quietly told Sarah, "Thank you for sharing your world with us." That night, Sarah saw a new bridge being built, one of respect and curiosity. But the hardest test came soon after. One evening, Jack received a phone call from an old friend who didn't know about Sarah. The friend made harsh, racist jokes and questioned Jack's choices. Jack was angry and hurt, but stood firm. "Sarah is the best thing in my life. Your hate has no place here." Sarah felt proud of Jack's courage. But the next day, Sarah found hateful messages on her social media. People who didn't know her judged her by the color of her skin. It was overwhelming. For the first time, Sarah doubted if love was enough. She sat alone, tears streaming down her face, wondering if she should give up. Then Jack sat beside her, holding her hands. "You are not alone. We will face this together." His words gave her strength. Sarah decided to speak out. She wrote a heartfelt message about love, courage, and breaking barriers. She shared her story openly, not hiding the pain or the joy. The message went viral. People from all over sent her words of support and shared their own stories. Sarah realized her courage was helping others find theirs. One afternoon, Jack's mother called Sarah. Her voice was shaky but sincere. "I'm sorry for the pain I caused. You've shown me what love truly means. I want to be better." Sarah felt a warmth she never expected. She said, "Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. That means everything." Jack smiled, proud of the woman he loved and the family they were healing together. Sarah knew the road ahead would still have challenges, but she was ready. Because courage in uncomfortable spaces could shift generations and build bridges where walls once stood. And she was just getting started. After the heartfelt apology from Mrs. Wilson, Sarah felt a new hope. The walls around Jack's family were slowly coming down. But not everyone was ready to change. Some relatives still whispered behind her back and gave cold stares when they thought she wasn't looking. One Sunday, Sarah and Jack visited his uncle's house. The uncle was known for his sharp tongue and old-fashioned views. Sarah tried to be polite, but the uncle soon made a biting remark about how unusual it was for Jack to bring someone like her. Jack's face darkened with anger. "Enough," he said firmly. "Sarah is my girlfriend, and I love her. If you can't accept that, you don't have to be part of our lives." Sarah felt a rush of relief and gratitude. Jack's stand gave her courage she didn't know she had. That night, Sarah sat down with Jack. "Thank you for standing up for me," she said softly. Jack smiled. "I'll always stand by you. We're a team." The next day, Sarah got a message from an old friend at work warning her to be careful. People talk. Some are jealous or afraid. Don't let them hurt you. Sarah took a deep breath. She knew the path ahead wouldn't be easy, but she was ready to fight not with anger, but with kindness and courage. A few days later, Sarah's company invited her to give a speech about diversity and inclusion. She hesitated at first, nervous to speak in front of so many people. But then she remembered all she had faced and how much she had grown. When she stood on that stage, Sarah shared her story, the love, the pain, the courage, and the hope. Her words touched many hearts. After the speech, a young woman approached her. "Thank you. I'm going through something similar. Your story gives me hope." Sarah smiled warmly. "You're stronger than you know." Meanwhile, back at Jack's family, the atmosphere was shifting. Some family members started inviting Sarah to small gatherings. They asked questions about her culture and listened with open hearts. One evening, Mrs. Wilson pulled Sarah aside. "I want to learn more. Will you teach me?" Sarah's eyes sparkled. "I'd love to, but not all was peaceful." Jack's younger brother, who had once called Sarah hurtful names, struggled with his feelings. One day, he avoided her completely. Sarah reached out gently. "I know it's hard to change, but I'm here when you're ready." Slowly, trust grew. One afternoon, Jack's brother surprised Sarah by joining her for a walk in the park. They talked honestly and laughed. Sarah felt that maybe, just maybe, the hardest hearts could soften. Then came the biggest test yet. Sarah's job announced a promotion for her, a big step up. But soon after, Jack's family started doubting her success, whispering that she only got ahead because of Jack. Sarah was hurt but didn't show it. Instead, she invited Jack's family to her workplace to see her in action. They watched her lead meetings, solve problems, and inspire her team. Jack's father shook her hand, saying quietly, "You've earned every bit of this." Sarah smiled, feeling proud and strong. The journey was far from over, but every step showed that courage and love could break down the hardest walls. And Sarah knew that as long as she and Jack stood together, they could face anything. As time passed, Sarah and Jack's love grew stronger, and so did the bonds with his family. The cold walls had started to crumble, replaced by understanding and respect. It wasn't perfect, and there were still tough moments, but those moments no longer had power over Sarah. She had shown them that love is bigger than fear, and courage can change even the hardest hearts. One afternoon, Sarah sat with Jack and his mother in the garden. Mrs. Wilson smiled and said, "Thank you for teaching us how to love without judgment. You've changed our family." Sarah looked at them all and said, "It wasn't easy, but I never gave up." Sometimes, courage means staying in uncomfortable places and showing kindness anyway. Jack took her hand and added, "Together, we built something new, a family that sees each other's hearts first." Sarah knew this was just the beginning, but she was proud of how far they'd come. Her story wasn't just about love between two people. It was about bravery, hope, and breaking barriers. She hoped that anyone facing hate or fear would remember. Courage in uncomfortable spaces can change minds, heal hearts, and build bridges where walls once stood. And with that courage, anything is possible.